years ago. You got nothing to be jealous about. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, nothing to be jealous about. You don't think I want to go on a cruise? I have a pulse. Well, is it worth it? Is it worth the pennies I've been pinching? The money I've been tucking away month after month? Just dreaming of a singular moment where I can cast off from the harbor of my lousy workaday into the steady sway and decadent promise of international waters? Huh? The theater? The swing music? The endless buffet? I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little insecure. Financially.
So what do you think makes people funny?
What do I think makes people funny? That's a very interesting question. I honestly think, one trait, is to be different. A lot of people, they're different. We're all different. And, they just see the world differently, in a sense. Like, my boyfriend always tells me, he's like, oh, you don't understand this because, you don't see it as a comedian standpoint. But that's a hard question.
Do you think it's about like making people laugh or like, yeah, what do you like? I don't know.
I think, it's more, a comedian, it's definitely like the ability to make people laugh, that's definitely the goal for everybody. But I think it's more like, making a connection, using those life stories or just different kinds of stories to connect with people and make them laugh, That's where I find my, more deeper laughs and more like intimate moments with comedians is, kind of connect with you on something. You're like, oh yeah, you get the picture going in your head and, it makes it a lot better. So the connection definitely would, yeah.
I mean, my personal experience and a lot of my friends that I think are funny, I think it's that thing where humor, you learn it as a defense mechanism. So like you're controlling why people laugh at you is like the saying, right? I don't know anybody I think that's super funny that doesn't have some aspect of that like in their past where like that's kind of the trick or whatever they learned to deal with like whatever trauma that they have like in their core. Which is not to say like happy people can't be funny, but most of the time I think the ones who are trying to like use it as that defense mechanism are a little bit more funny.
I think it's a pretty common answer that like a lot of trauma makes people funny. Where, like not to divulge too much about my upbringing or anything like that, but there's plenty to work from there. I was an only child and was just kind of not really supervised growing up, which led to a lot of really strange, confusing things. And I feel like, I don't know, most of the funniest people I've ever met, you get to know them and you're like, oh yeah, you've been through a lot of shit. I think you just have to be at a point where you have to look at something in a funny way in order to keep living. It seems a little dark, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, that's okay.
That is a loaded question. I think it sounds probably cheesy, but there's a certain part of it of like being yourself too, like not being afraid to be weird or say something that some people are gonna be like, ugh, and other people are gonna be like, that's really funny. And it's just kind of being brave enough to be yourself. And I guess to me that's a big factor.